Hey there, we're going to start a little yoga practice today. Remember, I am not a professional videographer, so it takes me a little bit of time to get my phone set up just right to video. It takes me time to make sure the lighting's right, which I struggle with today because there's no natural sunlight and I don't have like photography lighting or anything like that. As you can tell, it took me a lot of time in hair and makeup this morning. You know, that's a whole process. Anyway, today's practice, I just want to work on like some of the basics, the standing poses. In the beginning, I want to cover some breathing exercises. So what you will need for today, bolster to sit on. If you don't have a bolster, you could use a pillow, not too squishy, something a little bit firmer. Maybe a block if you have your yoga blocks. A yoga strap, we always use the cool Taekwondo straps. If you don't have a yoga strap or a Taekwondo belt at home, your robe belt would work fabulous. Even a towel would work well. So whatever you have, that's what you can use. We're not too concerned about this. These videos I'm doing are my gift to you so that you can continue to move and breathe even though we are closed. If you want to have water. Maybe you want a different beverage. A lot of times when we do our morning class, we have coffee yoga, but not everybody drinks coffee. Some people drink tea, whatever you want. You're at home. If you're in your pajamas, awesome. I almost did this video for you in my pajamas. Not going to though, not today. So find your supplies. You can pause that while you get your supplies and meet me on your bolster in a seated position. So when we are seated, we can sit cross-legged. It doesn't work for everybody. Some of us have issues with knees, so if you want your legs extended out, that is fine. Sometimes one leg in front of the other. The reason I ask you to sit on a bolster is it lifts the hips a little higher than the knees, which in turn allows us to sit up a little taller. Without the bolster, if I just scoot forward, what happens is we tend to collapse here. And when we collapse, there's just a little compression in the belly, the spine starts to round, makes it a little more difficult to breathe deeply. So find yourself how you can sit. If you need pillows under your knees, you could do that. Sometimes I just grab like pillows or blocks and put them under my knees, just depending on what you've got going on in your body. So remember, whatever I'm doing here, you can modify as is necessary for your body. Don't do anything that hurts, right? If I hold a pose too long, by all means, come out. You can push fast forward. You have the control here. So you are controlling your own body. I'm just a guide, right? This is not a professional product. We're just doing this for fun, okay? So keep all those things in mind. If you are brand new to this, give yourself a break, all right? Don't work too hard. So let's start with palms up. We're gonna bring the shoulders up and back. A little length in the spine, reaching out through the top of the head, and then I suggest a little tuck in the chin. We tend to bring our chin forward like this, and that's hard on the neck. So a little tuck in the chin to lengthen through the cervical vertebrae. There you go, big words. All right. So finding this shape in the body, feel a little weight in your legs, in your bottom. Tap into that, feel that weight. Feel the mat beneath you, feel the bolster beneath you. Beneath that mat, the floor, the foundation, all the way down to Mother Earth, right? We're rooting in, feeling grounded, okay? And start to focus on the breath, taking a deep breath in, lengthening, exhaling slowly, inhaling, exhaling. Just focus on that breath. Throughout the whole practice, you want to stay in tune to your breath. So for now, let's take hands to opposite ribs. Really spread those fingers right along the outside of the ribs, and we'll do what's called a rib moving breath. So inhale deeply, feeling the rib cage expand. Slowly exhale. Inhale, expand the ribs, and exhale. A couple more here. Staying focused on the breath and following the breath, feeling it as it starts in the nostrils, travels to the throat, into the chest, into the rib cage, Follow the breath and then follow it as you exhale. Chest compresses a little bit, ribs come in, the breath moves slowly out. Inhaling, exhaling. And then bringing hands to belly, maybe middle fingers together right at the navel. We'll do what's called a diaphragmatic breath. It's just a deep belly breath, almost a three-part breath where we inhale deeply, filling the belly, filling the chest, up to the collarbones. So belly, chest, collarbones, and then exhaling from the top. Collarbones, chest, belly. Push that air right out of that belly. Three-part breath. Belly, chest, collarbones. Exhaling, collar, chest, belly. Keep this going. Working it. So when we focus on the breath, it brings us more into the present, more into our body. You can keep breathing here and let everything else go. Just focus on your breath. Get that pattern of breath going. Keep the breath moving throughout your practice. A lot of times we find ourselves at central nervous system, we get uptight. We are in like a fight or flight nervous system where we are just like doing what we have to do. We're breathing shallowly. If you can get into this three-part breath, it can bring you into a rest and restore. So it's really good for you. I suggest doing this as you drive, or if something's going on and you feel yourself starting to condense and get a little uptight, maybe you can focus on that breath and it can help you. So keep this going, a couple more rounds. And then staying focused as we work our practice. Always returning to the breath if the mind is kind of left there. Bring your hands to heart. You can set an intention for this practice. Whatever it is that you need right now, you can put it out there in present time. Or maybe we can set a group intention that no matter what's going on around me, I am breathing. I am here. Put that out there. I am breathing. I am here. And maybe I'm okay. All right? I'm breathing. I am here. I am okay. Inhaling up. Exhale, let the arms fall down. Return those hands to lap. We're going to start moving the body a little bit. Just pick up the hands, rotate at the wrists, one direction and the other. Wiggle those fingers. And then bring the arms back and forth across the chest. Just a couple times, just warming up the body. Inhaling, open, and then just maybe relax the arms and the shoulders down a little. Take a little side to side. Just a gentle twist back and forth. Coming back to center. On your next inhalation, come nice and tall. Exhale, take a twist. One hand to opposite knee, fingertips behind. So the twist, we inhale tall, and then we exhale. It's belly, ribs, shoulder, maybe the head takes that twist. We breathe into that twist. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, taking the twist to the other side. Just a little bit of movement for that spine, maybe the head. If you have neck issues, you can keep the nose even with the sternum. Coming back to center, hands to knees. Let's just roll the shoulders back a couple of times, one direction and the other. We are still breathing. All right, sitting up tall. Let's work the neck just a little bit. I'm considering this a morning practice for you, so you need to move things and get them going. So with your nose, you're going to draw like a figure 8. So you're going to take the head up, down, and around. Up, down, and around. You can take a little pause and go the opposite direction. Negative 8. Loosening up. Here we go. Coming back to center. Take a deep breath in. Get tall. Exhale. Turn the head to one side. Notice what you're feeling in your neck and your shoulders. Keep breathing. Your next inhalation brings you up tall to center. Exhale, take it to the other side. Breathe here. Inhale back to center. Excellent, excellent. Extend the legs out long. Maybe you take a little beverage sip as you point and flex those feet. Take those feet back and forth. So the feet are moving, but the movement is originating from the hip joints. There we go. Bring those feet into diamond shape. Hands to shin, sit up tall. Inhale, exhale, hinge forward. Sit up tall. So when we hinge, the spine is long. The movement is coming from the hips. So it's like a tip forward, not so much a rounding of the back. Leading with the chest, maybe a little bit with the chin. Good. And then let's take hands behind. Just take a deep breath in. As you inhale, lift the chest, take the shoulders back. Exhale here. So this is a tiny little back bend. One more. And come on back. Take those legs wide and just take them back and forth 1 or 2 times. Here we go. Exhale long. We're going to come off your pillow or your bolster. Just set it off to the side. Bring your hands up behind. Take your feet about as wide as your mat and just take these legs back and forth. Back and forth. Windshield wipering them. Sometimes we like to come up with names for our yoga poses that we have somewhat invented. I have a friend who invented the name for this. Rather than wiper blading, we call it wipasana. Just because it's funny, go ahead, laugh. I've got a lot of material. Most of you have heard all of my material. But when we're doing these classes, it doesn't have to be serious, right? Have a little levity. Enjoy life. Oh, come to one side. Take the bottom foot up on top of the knee, and then lift a little through the ribs and breathe. Getting into those hips. And then take it to the other side. Bring up, breathe, lifting. Come on back down, stretching those legs out long. Just have a seat here for a minute and breathe. Hands to heart, inhale up. Exhale, take a fold. We're hinging at the hips, back is long and straight. Wherever your hands land. And then reach out just a little through the top of the head, and then allow the head to bow, allow the shoulders to soften, the elbows to soften. Breathe here. Notice what's happening in the backs of your legs, your low back. Allow that head to be heavy. And roll on up. We're going to make our way to standing. We're going to take the long way. Come to all fours, tabletop position. Knees are directly under hips. Shoulders, elbows, wrist stack, fingers spread. So we pull in through the belly a little bit and we lengthen through the head and through the tail. That's our neutral. The arms rotate toward the front just a little bit, not so much that we're locking out the elbows. Okay, so this is our neutral. We're going to breathe, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, pull the belly in around the back, coming into cat pose. Head drops, shoulder blades spread. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the hips. Ribs come up, the shoulders come up, head comes up, neck is soft, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Just a couple more, just a little movement for the spine. Coming back to neutral, curling the toes under, lifting the knees, pushing back into our down dog. You can adjust by maybe stepping forward with the toes, maybe step just an inch or 2 wide. Stretch out long through the arms. And one knee, sink one heel. I've got distractions in the background. I hope you don't have too many distractions in the background. It's hard to keep things perfect. It's impossible to keep things perfect, all right? We work with the distractions and we try not to let them affect our zen, right? Push through those arms, sink those heels down. And then walking the hands to the feet. Bending the knees and rolling up to standing. Come to the front for you. Bring the arms down. Excellent. All right. So find your spot on your mat, maybe somewhere in the middle of the mat. Let's roll the shoulders back and roll them forward. Good. Take the feet apart just a little bit. Let's rotate at the hips. One direction, opening those hips just a little bit, and the other direction. Excellent. Coming into our mountain pose. Mountain pose is Tadasana, right? You just can't land in mountain pose. It takes a little bit of work, right? We have the bottoms of our feet. Let's press into the toes, bend the knees a little, and sink back into the heels. Let's take this back and forth just a little bit. Feel your feet on your mat. Coming back to center. Let's take some weight to the outside edges of the feet. I don't know, can you see my feet? To the inside edges, we're going back and forth. We have those four corners to the feet. All right, let's evenly distribute the weight in the feet. Hands to hips. Bend over, look at your ankles. Your ankles may come in, your ankles may come out. A lot of that comes from hips and knees. Let's find some stability here. Imagine you're bringing the fronts of the shins directly over those ankles. A little bend in the knees. You start to feel the strength in the legs. With that little bend in the knees, the thighs will tighten up. And we're entering into the top portion of the body. We're gonna zip up like we're zipping up our jeans, pulling up through those abdominals, and at the same time, pulling down through the tail. All right, so legs are really strong here, right? We gotta work upper body. Shoulders come up, rolling back, open the chest, thumbs come out. All right, we've got the trunk happening here. Now we're reaching out tall through the top of the head and gently tucking the chin so that the cervical vertebrae have space. A lot of times we're like this or we're like this. We're bringing that back, finding our length and our strength in our mountain pose. Feel that strength in your legs? Breathe here. That is a lot of instruction for standing up tall. We're doing it. Bring hand over hand, center of the chest. Heart center. Heart's over here. This is considered heart center, right at the sternum. Inhale to open. Exhale, round a little and fold. Inhale, open. Exhale, a little gentle rounding of the spine, a little gentle fold. Inhale, gentle back bend. Exhale, gentle fold. Inhale, open. Exhale, come back to center. Nice long spine. Remember, you've got that little bend in the knees, the zip up in the belly, the draw down in the spine. Bring hands to your sides. Mountain pose. We're going to go into chair pose. Inhale up. Exhale, sit it down. It's a squat. Inhale up. Exhale, sit it down. Inhale up. Exhale, coming into chair pose, bringing the arms out in front. Look down. You should be able to see the whole tops of your feet, right? The knees or shins should be coming back. If they're coming forward, that's too much stress. We're going to bring it back, so stick your rear end out. Good chair pose. Bring the hands behind, drop the head. Reach out through those fingers, finding some strength in those legs. Keeping that strength in the legs, remembering the ankles, the shin bones come up. Hands to heart. Inhale up, take a little back bend. Exhale, take a little forward fold. Inhale, take a half lift, looking out in front, sinking a little weight into those heels. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees, drawing in from the belly, coming all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart, just warming this body. Inhale up. Exhale, come into chair pose. All right, rear end is going back, shins are going back. Chin comes back, hands to heart. Right here, feel that length from the belly button to the top of your head and take a twist to one side. Now we can twist this far. Maybe this shoulder is stacked on top of this shoulder. Maybe. Maybe we come in deeper and bring this tricep to the top of the thigh. Or maybe we open arms. Wherever you are, the head should not be hanging. Head should be lifted, so the top of the skull is like an extension of the spine. So however you are, wherever you need to be right here, check in with this knee. I have a bad habit where the knee goes back. Bring that knee to meet the other knee. Good, breathe, breathe, breathe. Coming back to center, reestablishing that length, belly button to top of head, and then coming to this side, however you came on the first side, right? So I showed this option, I showed this option, reaching out through the head, checking in with the knees, making sure they're level across the front and one's not farther back. A little bit of work here. Coming back to center. Feeling good. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, take a little back bend, a little upward salute. Over the arms. Coming out of the back bend. Hands to heart. Hands to hips. We're going to take feet wide. Adjusting your shirt. There we go. Wiggle out those hips. All right, so when we're wide, we can put more weight on the inside toes, the outside edges. Find somewhere in the middle. Your hips will be happier. A little bend in the knees. Come all the way forward. And bring hands to the floor or to a block, whatever you need. If you need a second to grab something, go ahead. Or maybe your hands don't make it. I've got really long arms. However you can be right here. Hands could stay on hips. Extending further down if it's in your practice. Releasing head, neck, and shoulders. Little bend at the knees, pulling in from the belly to come up. Hands to heart. Extending the arms out. All right, so from here, I gotta fix my shirt. Maybe you have to fix your shirt. This is triangle pose. Right? We're gonna take one foot out. And we'll work the hips up and down. Actually, bring those arms down. Work these hips, all right? So this is front leg is pointing out. Back leg, we're gonna push through the heel a little bit. So we've got muscle here, muscle, that's all muscle from the hip all the way down to the heel. Leg is strong. Front leg, tiny little micro bend in the knee. We're working this inner thigh here, you're feeling that. Right, these hips are going up and down. We are gonna crease here. We're not gonna bend here at the waist. Side body nice and long, creasing here, so feel the crease, Then extend your arms out like ta-da. So we're coming in slowly. This is extended triangle pose. Looking up at the hand, checking in with this knee, breathing here. Legs are strong, right? Top body's long. We're broad across the chest. There you got it. I'm imagining that you're looking very good here. It's not about looking good. It's about how it feels. Go ahead, bend this knee. I guess what I mean when I say you're looking good is that you're following my cues and using the alignment to the best of your body's ability. How's that sound? Does it sound like I'm backpedaling? I'm not really. All right, so knee bends. Bring that knee over the ankle, working this inner thigh here, right? Knee wants to go over here. Bring it over to pinky toe side. Pinky toe side. Okay, good. Shoulders over hips within reason. The more you bring this knee, the more the shoulder wants to come in. Just think about where the shoulders are, the side body. Working alignment here today. All right, so we get this lower body established, right? Don't dig into the toes. Maybe lift the toes. Feel the bottoms of your feet, each side of the heel, right under the big toe, right under the pinky toe, the four corners. All right, so we've got this knee going over to the side. Bring the arms up. I like to check and make sure they're even Steven. Let the shoulders relax down. Looking over your front hand. This is the front hand, right? Hanging out here. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Holding this pose. What happened to your breath? Are you breathing? I'm talking. Inhale, exhale. Here we go. Inhale, exhale. If we drop the arm down and bring this arm up, it turns into side angle. If we take this hand over, it turns into extended side angle. So here we are in extended side angle. Head is lifted. Checking in with the knee. Legs are strong. Come on back to warrior 2. Hands to hip, foot to front. We're going to come in and take a little break there. That's a lot of wide-legged, right? The wide-legged poses are great for us because every day we are going forward, we are front to back. The hips get really tight. The hips get tight, pulls on other things. We end up with low back pain, issues like that. So we're going to come back to our mountain pose. Bend those knees. Come up tall. Inhale up. Exhale, take a chair. Inhale up. Exhale, take a chair. One more up. Exhale, chair pose. Hands to heart. Take a twist to one side, however you do your twist. Here, here, here. Whatever works for you. Next inhalation, come back to center. Watch those knees. Exhale, other side. Wherever you take your twist. Here, here, or here. Breathing. Head extended, knees level in front. Coming back to center. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Hands to hips. Take the feet wide. Good. So there's always some discussion on how wide should we go. Depends on your body. If you have knee issues, do not go as wide, all right? If you do yoga with me on a regular basis, you know how wide you go. If you've never done yoga, good luck, we're all counting on you. Bring your hands out like this, pointing the fingers down. If you drew a line, that's the outside edge, in a perfect world, that's where your foot would be. That's how wide you would be. But that doesn't work for everybody. We all have different issues. You know, some of us, our knees come in, some of us, our knees bow out a little bit. Some of us are tighter in the hips than others. So find what works for you, right? So here we are, nice and tall. Arms come out, little triangle here. We're gonna take front foot and turn it out. This is our new front foot. Back foot, we're gonna push out through the heel. Okay, bring hands to hips. Check in with this knee. Do not lock it out. Do not hyperextend. That's not good for you. It's not good for you. All right, working from here. So maybe bring this up and down. I know. All right, so this hip's up, this hip is down. We're creasing from that hip. The arms can come out. We tip, tip, tip. Bringing hand to shin, or the outside of the shin, other hand up, looking up, extended triangle pose. Breathing here, right? Breathing through these poses, with these poses, in these poses. Not bending the knee. Finding that knee over ankle, lifting the arms, relaxing the shoulders, looking out over the front. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Checking with your toes. Are you grounding all four corners of your feet? There we go. Hand drops, other hand rises, side ankle pose. Chest is open. Here we go. If we want to extend this, we can go extended side angle pose, reaching from fingers all the way down that arm, all the way down that leg into that heel. Extending that side angle, breathing. Coming back to 2. Shoulders relax. Hands to hips, feet to front. And then gently walk that in. Good. So we hold these poses. We get a little bit of extension going, a little bit of length, a little bit of stress on the muscles, the tendons. You kind of want to undo that, let them come back. Give yourself a little break here. Sink into the heels, a little bit into the balls of the feet, a little bend in the knees, zipping up, shoulders back. Inhaling up, exhaling hands to heart. Take a few breaths here. Inhale up. Exhale, bring hands to hips. Step back on your mat just a little bit so you have space. I'm about 2/3 back. I'm going to bring one foot forward. Other foot turns out, squaring the hips to the front. Right, depending on what you've got going on in your hips, it might be less accessible for you to come to the front. Do the best that you can. So hands to hips, we're square hips over shoulders within reason. Within reason. You may have to adjust that back foot just to make it more comfortable for you. All right, so we're nice and long. We're gonna bend from this hip joint coming forward. Checking in with that knee. A little lift in the knee, a little bend, a little lift in the hips. All right, so we're stretching the back of this leg. Reaching out, belly button, top to head. Reach out through the arms. Breathe here. Bring hands to heart. Bend the knee. And come up. Little baby warrior 1. Maybe you take the back bend. Maybe you come back down. Keeping the knee bent, hinging forward. So this knee stays bent. Knee over ankle. We're long, belly button to top of head. Clasp the fingers together behind. And then lift the arms up as you drop the head down, coming into a humble warrior. Checking in with that knee over ankle. Breathing, lifting through the hips. Releasing the hands back to hips, coming up tall. All right, take a breath here. Sink, step up. Other foot goes back. And we find our alignment here, so it's not as far as like the warrior 2 pose. So it's just a little less far. Hips to front, right? This foot is turned out. squared over here. We come halfway down. Halfway down, so belly button to top of the head, tall, little bend in the knee. Reach the arms out here, breathing. Bending the knee to come up, hands to heart. Inhaling up, taking a little back bend, little warrior one. Back bend, hands to heart, hands to hips. Keeping that bend in the knee. We're going to lace fingers behind, but put the other index finger in front. It's the second interlace. Bending forward. Halfway. Tall from belly button to top of the head. Start to lift your hands, checking in with that knee, and then release the head down, coming into a humble warrior. Breathing here, finding that strength. Four corners of the feet, grounding into the floor, feeling that strength. Releasing the hands. Coming up, breathing in here, sinking and stepping up. Nice little stretch for the legs. Move back to the middle. Finding the mountain pose, right? Little bend in the knees. Check those ankles, shins, ankles, soles of the feet, right? Working our way up. Soles of the feet, ankles, shins. Knees have a little bend. All right, good. Thighs are strong, zipping up, pulling down. Shoulders come up and back, finding our mountain pose. Maybe a little tuck in the chin to lengthen the back of the neck, reaching out through top of head. Take a few breaths here. All right, let's work a little balance. We're going to come to this side. This is my right side. And lift the knee, lift the heel. There will be no edits on this video. I will not fix anything. I will self-correct as I speak. If I miss it, oh well. We're not perfect. So when we come into a one-legged stance, a lot of times what happens is this hip will go out to try and compensate. So imagine this hip is connected to this belly button. So we're keeping some length here. Maybe we lift the foot up, right? Working our balance. So the abdominal muscles are working here. We're keeping this connection, right? Four corners of the foot, yes. Maybe the arms come out. Maybe the arms come up. Maybe the leg extends out. You can always have a chair or something close by if you need it. Bend the knee. Good. And bring that down. So other side, standing on one leg. First, we establish that mountain pose, that strength in the legs, a little bend in the knees, thighs, zip. We've got this strength, right? And then we lift the heel. We connect hip to belly button and come up, using our abdominal muscles, using our drishti, or our focus, our gaze, at an angle. See, that's what that means. At an angle. Got that? Let's have a little fun here. One leg, maybe the arms come up. Maybe we extend the leg out. Bring it back and come on down. All right. Let's put a little bend in both knees. A little sink in the hips. Belly tight. Arms come out. Just breathe here. Bring your hands together. Press into the palms. You're going to lift one heel and cross this ankle above the knee. If this doesn't work for you, just stay here with one heel lifted. Right? We can modify these however we need. So belly muscles are activated, right? Working those inner thighs a little bit here and our rear end to maintain this. Release your toes from the floor. Sink into the balls of the feet and the heels of the feet, or foot in this case. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Extend the arms open. Lift the leg up. Deep breath in. Exhale, return those limbs. Other side. We're going to sink down. Right, so we have the bend in the knees. Drawing up from the belly, tails coming down, arms coming out. Bring those hands together, press into the palms. 15 second heel, finding that connection, hip to belly, lifting that foot and crossing it above the knee, sitting down here. Remember, what's your modification for this one? Would be to leave toes on the floor, maybe heel lifted. Breathe here, working our balance. Excellent. Coming back out and returning those limbs to floor. Woo! Balance work makes me sweat a little bit. Roll those shoulders back. Roll them forward. Take those feet apart. Just sway side to side. Little movement. Shake the arms out. Move the head. Good. Bring those feet back to center. We make our way back down to the floor. All right, so we're nice and strong here in our stance. We're going to inhale up and back. Exhale, take a flat back to a forward fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, full. Go ahead, plant your hands in front. Bend your knees and step all the way back, coming into a plank. In our plank, we're lifting that belly. Right, the heels are coming up, shoulders over wrists. Breathing here. Rather than get too complicated, we don't want to get too complicated. We're going to drop the knees, flatten the feet. Let's come up into a high cobra. There you are, high cobra. And then push it back into child's pose. However you like to do child's pose. For me, it's better to take my knees wide, big toes almost touching or a little space. And then come down, resting your head. Arms can be stretched out in front if you need a little extra stretch here. Or you can bring the elbows back towards the knees. In a perfect world, in this pose, your butt would be all the way on your heels. Mine doesn't work that way because these knees have been overused and overloved. Oh, the things I've done. Take a few breaths here. Lengthen through your tail if you're able. And breathe. A great modification, if like me you have knee issues, is to take this bolster. The rest of y'all just stay in child's pose. Take this bolster. It gives you an ability to sink into the pose because there's less pressure. You can come down here. If your head doesn't make it, you could do two little fists. You could use your block, your pillow. And this is a good modification for child's pose for those of you with knee issues. If your knees are really, really talking to you, don't do child's pose. You have options. You could do apanasana, which would be, everybody else stay in child's pose if you're good there. This is my little break for my knee people. So apanasana, you would first bring the knees in and breathe here. Then there's not the whole body weight pressure on the knees. It's just the weight of your lower legs on the knees. And just breathe here. Either in your child's pose or in your apanasana, knees folded in. And then everyone make your way up to seated. Get a drink if you need a drink. It's time to take a break. I'm teaching this in the more traditional Hatha style, not a vinyasa or flow yoga where every move is connected to the breath. We want to keep the breath moving. That's important to not hold our breath, but this is not considered a flow class. Nice that I tell you that near the end. Find your strap, whatever it is you're using, a towel, maybe the robe belt, the belt to your robe, or a regular belt. Robe belts are nice because they're a little bit longer. We are going to come to, I keep going back and forth just so it videos nice for you. Whatever position you find yourself in your mat, knees bent, walk the heels close to your bottom. There's the sunshine finally. Someday I will have a professional videographer. Not really, because it's okay. Lift the arms up, give the shoulders some room, and bring the hands down. Maybe take the head back and forth. All right, settle those shoulders, settle your head, take a few breaths here. Soften your face and your jaw. All right, we're gonna find the strap. You're gonna find that halfway point of the strap to your first foot. I'm doing right foot. So maybe your leg will straighten at a perpendicular angle. Is that a perpendicular angle? It's a right angle. Maybe it will straighten. A lot of us, our knees will be bent because the hamstrings are too tight. So whatever you can do within reason, find where you can be here. Fingers pointed up. Take this strap in the hands. I like it right at the ball of the foot. And I gently pull down, but at the same time push up through the heel, and maybe you'll feel the stretch here, or a little bit the back of the knee. If you need to adjust the angle here to feel it, by all means adjust the angle, because not every body works the same. So we're not gripping too tight, we're letting the leg do the work, pushing up through the heel, drawing those toes back, and breathing. So we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Just feel what's going on in your leg. Keep that breath moving. And let your next inhalation be a little bit deeper. As you exhale, bring the leg in toward trunk. Nice little straight line here toward the trunk as far as your leg goes. Right? When you find how far your leg goes, stay right there. Breathe, release the shoulders a little, release the jaw. Maybe you feel the stretch move more into the middle, back of that leg. Okay, you may have to bend the elbows or bring your hands farther up the strap. So find where you can be. We're breathing here. And then with the next exhalation, sink the hips down just a little bit. See if you can make the back of that leg a little bit longer. Breathing here. Coming back to center, I'm going to take a strap. I'm on the right side, so take the strap, same leg, same hand. So for me, it's right hand. We're going to take left hand to the, you may have palm facing out, thumb down, left hand to left inner thigh, and open both legs. Right? The reason this hand is here is a counterbalance so that this part of your rear end isn't coming off the floor. You want to keep both hips level on the floor. And again, you can take it out nice and far if that works for you. If you're uber flexible, say your foot is all the way on the floor, maybe bring it up a little. Engage these inner thigh muscles, push through the heel. And breathe. And then maybe go a little wider with each exhalation, finding where you can be. Keeping it level, breathing. That inner thigh. Oh, you might be gripping too tight with that hand. Loosen those fingers a little bit. Inhale, exhale. If you've gone too wide and need to let off a little, you could do that. You can stay right where you are. A couple more breaths here. And then we're going to bring this leg up. And switch hands. Wiggle these fingers in case you grip too tight. We're going to roll onto our side. This elbow is going to bend. I'm actually going to go more at a diagonal here, because otherwise I'm going to run into things. So we're going, for me, I'm going to the left. Left elbow bends. And I'm going to keep this leg about a foot off the floor. So you start to feel the stretch in the outside leg, maybe. And hand to belly. Take a breath or two here. Inhale, bring this arm up. The opposite arm comes up. Inhaling, exhaling, bring it out to the side, turning head to open. Now your shoulder may or may not reach the floor. Depends on how you are built. This side for me, today I'm making the floor. If that's uncomfortable, you can bring the arm in a little bit. You can bring the arm back to belly. If you're fully extended here, oh, be thankful you're fully extended. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, think about these back ribs and maybe draw them a little bit toward the floor. Doesn't have to be a crazy amount, just a little bit. So we're creating a twist here along with a stretch for this outside hip. Breathing. And then we're going to bring this arm back in and turn to the side, letting go of the strap. Just curl in on that side. For me, it's the left side. Take a few breaths here. And then we're going to make our way back to right here. I'm going to turn. You can stay where you are on your mat if that works for you. I'm going to turn so you can see it on this side. We're going to bring that strap to the belly. Wiggle the shoulders out. Hands to belly. Just take a few breaths here. Let your head and neck have space. Space is important. All this yoga, all this moving the body, breathing into the body, we're just creating space in the body, experiencing the space around us, within us. Bring the heels a little closer. Find the halfway point. For me, it's left leg. For you, it's the other leg. So we start out, I like it at the ball of my feet. Some people like it at the arch. I feel a better stretch at the ball of the foot. Within reason, within your body's abilities, we are perpendicular. Fingers pointing up, gentle in the strap. Find your breath. Pushing up through the heel, bringing the toes back toward the knee. Softening the face and the jaw. Letting the leg do the work here. Deep breath in. Long breath out. And then taking the strap, same hand, same leg, take the strap there. Other hand, palm turns away to the inner thigh and opening the legs wide. So we're pushing through that heel on the extended leg. Bent leg, a gentle amount of pressure to keep both sides of your bottom level on the floor. Breathe here. If you're uber flexible and you find this leg all the way to the floor and you're not feeling anything, bring it in a little bit and work the muscles. Breathe here. I'm enjoying the view out my window. I see a big fat squirrel. Loving nature. Almost like I'm doing yoga outside. Take a few breaths here. Enjoy your surroundings. Inhale, bringing that up. Switching hands and taking it over to the side. Keeping this hand in about a foot off the floor. I have to adjust, scooting my bottom over. So you're keeping this hand in. Inhaling up. Exhaling, extending the arm out, maybe turning head. You may notice on this side my shoulder doesn't meet the floor. A little bit more constricted in my hip on this side. So I work with it. Sometimes I bring the leg up so the shoulder can go down. Sometimes I bring the leg down and the shoulder goes up. Sometimes I find where is the middle balance. Right? If you have issues like this, you could put the bolster. Could be an option for you. Option for me. Bolster would work here. Or just play around with it. Breathe. As you breathe, maybe you'll find a little more space. Here, bring the arm in, bending the knee, curl in. Just have a few breaths here. So as I mentioned earlier, this is not by any means a professional video, and right now my poor little mind, I'm wondering, when I had you here, did I bring you here on this leg? I can't remember. If I skipped it, I'm sorry. You could do it. You could bring it in. You could pause. Pause and find a correction that works for you. How's that? Sound like more backpedaling? Breathe here. Coming back. Adjusting. So from here, give your shoulders some space. Give your head some space. Push that off to the side. Now bring soles of the feet together, coming into reclined cobbler pose. Gently press the heels together. You can have hands on your belly. Sometimes that will help you connect with your breath because you can feel the belly move with your breath. Close your eyes if you like. And those thighs relax. And just notice what you are feeling in your body. A lot of times when we come into this position, the back will arch a little bit. That's perfectly natural. Allow that to happen. Relax your shoulders. A lot of times we tend to hold these shoulders up. Imagine I've got my hands on your shoulders and I'm putting a gentle amount of weight on there to bring those shoulders down. Allow them to relax. Allow the jaw to relax. Close the eyes and breathe. Stay with your breath. Couple more rounds here. One more breath in. Lost my voice there. One more breath in. Nice and deep exhale. Take your hands to the outsides of those thighs. Bring them in. Walk your feet to the outside edges of your mat. Pinky toes on the outside edge. And just take these legs back and forth. Good. And then walk the heels in close. Hug your knees in. And a gentle rock back and forth. Open the arms wide. Dropping your knees to one side. Turning your head opposite the knees. Coming into revolved belly pose. Revolved belly pose, you want to let go here. Let the shape of this pose give you the stretch. Let the weight of your legs give you the stretch. You may need to adjust here. The legs may come down a little. They may come up a little. Depending on where they are, it'll either feel the stretch more in low back or middle back. Find what works for your body. Turn your head away from those knees. Breathe and let go. When you're letting go of the jaw, the forehead, keeping that breath moving. Your next inhalation, bring those knees back to chest. Exhale here. Lift the head, the shoulders, rock it out. Take that head back to the floor. And then drop the knees to the other side. Extending arms open, turning head away. And you can always adjust these arms, again, depending on your shoulders. Bring them down a little, bring them in, whatever you need. Breathe. For many people, this knee will go all the way down. This is my wonky hip, right? I've got a little space here. If that's a problem, put a block there. Allows you to let go a little more. Or even put the block underneath, or your bolster, or your pillow. If you're not struggling with this leg, this little bit of resistance I have going on, the block helps take the resistance away and allows me to let go. So breathe here. Maybe close your eyes. Soften your jaw, your forehead, chest, and the hips. Let go in the hips. Taking a few breaths here. Staying focused on the breath, not letting all those other thoughts flood in. Thoughts will come up, let them go. On your next inhalation, bring those knees back to center. Rock it out a little. Return those feet to floor. Getting ready for Savasana. Maybe you want a blanket. If you're a little cold, maybe you want to put socks on. Or maybe you just want to stretch out those legs nice and long. I gotta make room so you can see my feet, right? Stretch those legs out nice and long, and then let them flop open. The arms, lift the arms up, peel one shoulder off the floor, peel the other shoulder off the floor. Bring the arms along your sides. Shavasana, also known as corpse pose. Not that we're dead. A lot of you have heard me say this before. But it's allowing the body to just stop, allowing you to bring your focus and your attention to the body and just be here in the present moment before you rush off to the next thing. So allow yourself to be here. Allow yourself to have what you've just done in this, I don't know how long this practice was. Allow yourself to have what you've just done in this yoga practice. And bring the head level, space in the throat to breathe. Deep breath in, long breath out. Deep breath in, long breath out. I suggest we come to a pattern where our exhalation is 2 counts longer than our inhalation.
So whatever works for you.